Welcome to the Tattooed Traveler. I'm Todd Newton, and welcome to one of the most exciting, romantic cities on the planet. This is Paris, France. Now, let me tell you what's coming up on this episode. I'm glad you're here for it. We're going to visit the Louvre, the world's largest art museum. We're also going to go vintage shopping like you've never been vintage shopping before. And tell you what, let's make this a real special show. Let's visit a speakeasy. Not too many people know about it, but I'll take you there. It's all happening right here and right now. Well, let's face it, the only way to start the day in Paris is with a pastry. Paris is known as the bakery capital of the world. There are over 1,200 bakeries or boulangeries scattered throughout the city, and a nice espresso with a baguette provided the perfect fuel for our first stop. This video is one of 3 here on the channel where we explore the French capital, and after watching all 3, you're practically a Parisian. Right now, let's talk about the Louvre. This is the largest art history museum in the world, housing more than 38,000 pieces. And as you might imagine, it gets pretty busy. The Louvre welcomes about 10 million visitors from around the world each year, so it's highly advised to get your tickets well in advance with a designated entry time. It'll just make your visit all the more relaxing, educational, and enjoyable. The Louvre was not always a museum. It was originally built as a fortress in the 12th century. It was later turned into a royal palace. That would have been in the 16th century. But it's been this fabulous museum, open to the public since 1793. It's really a place you need to see for yourself, but let's take a look at some of the more popular pieces. This is Winged Victory, sitting atop a staircase, beautiful positioning, a beautiful piece. And of course, this lady needs no introduction. This is the Mona Lisa, created by Leonardo da Vinci in 1503, 1504, and she's smaller than you might think, only 30 inches by 21 inches. Of the more than 400 rooms at the Louvre, I think this one is my favorite. This is the Gallery of Apollo, and this is where you'll find the French crown jewels and other royal artifacts. Where else can you see something like this? This is the actual crown worn by King Louis XV. And here's the crown of Empress Eugenia. But to me, the most beautiful aspect to this gallery is right above you. Look at the lavish carvings and paintings on the ceiling. And this table from the royal palace that was used in the mid-1700s. And lastly, the second most photographed lady here at the Louvre, behind only Mona Lisa, is Venus de Milo, Aphrodite. Made of pure marble between 150 and 125 BC. She's perfectly intact, except, of course, for the arms. All right, now I want to switch it up with you, my friend, and tell you about something that is hot, not only in Paris, but all over Europe right now, and that is vintage shopping, thrift shopping. And Paris, being a fashion hub, is all over it. There are numerous secondhand stores spread throughout the city. Some of the more popular include Garrisol, Free P-Star. And thrifting doesn't just give you a chance to get great designer clothes, secondhand of course, at a great price. You can also pick up books, furniture, vinyl records, and a lot more. Treasures everywhere. Many are known for their curated selections, offering carefully selected vintage items that cater to specific styles, even eras. My advice is to bring a decent chunk of change, because even if you don't think you're going to find anything, well, you might. This is Hippie Market. There are a handful of locations around the city. We found some good buys here. You'll find that the prices at the thrift stores vary widely based on the condition of the piece you're purchasing and the store itself. So it's in your best interest to make a morning of it, make an afternoon of it, have a little bit of fun. Buying used is good for the environment too, giving some of these old pieces a new lease on life, if you will. And I was looking specifically for leather goods. Kilo Shop was the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The store has a unique concept. You pay by the weight here, by the kilo. So what you do is you pick out the item or items that catch your eye, bring them over to one of these scales, push the corresponding color, tells you how much you'll pay per kilo, and there's your price, just over €14 for this bag. What a score! We decided to celebrate a little bit, and after our vintage shopping adventure, we went to l'épicier, which translates to grocery store or corner market. But this l'épicier is just a little different. Sure, it's a good place to pop in and grab a couple bottles of water, some snacks, maybe a little tube of toothpaste. But if you let your fingers do the walking, you will find that behind this shelf is one of Paris's best kept secrets. This speakeasy, well, quite frankly, it's become the talk of the town. Speakeasies became a thing during Prohibition, 1920-ish, when the selling and consuming of alcohol was illegal. They'd be disguised as other businesses like barbershops or ice cream parlors, even funeral homes. And many times, a secret password was required to gain entry. These days, all you really need to know is where to go and what you want to drink. For us, a couple of fruity martinis. Overpriced? Sure. But some good video and a great story to tell, always worth an extra few bucks. The modern 20s are certainly different than the roaring 20s. There's no longer a need to hide your libations. Keep your good times secret. The term speakeasy has been revived. You'll find many bars and clubs all over the world that evoke the atmosphere and style of the Prohibition era. And l'épicier here in Paris is certainly among them. You know, it's almost impossible to explore the narrow streets of this great city without getting caught up in the breathtaking architecture of Paris's many churches. This is the Church of St. Mary. The church was built in the 16th century during the Gothic period. And as extravagant as it is, it does not hold the status of cathedral. There are only two cathedrals in Paris, Notre Dame, of course, and St. Denis Basilica, which is actually located on the outskirts of the city. Nonetheless, the Church of St. Mary is something to see, if for no other reason than to take in the historic pipe organ, its design, which is reminiscent of Notre Dame Cathedral. And right over here, its large rose-shaped stained glass window, just beautiful. Most, if not all, of these churches are open to the public, tourists, but they still hold regular worship services, which everyone is welcome to attend. This particular church is also used for art exhibits, concerts, public performances, just something. Now, we mentioned Paris in the 1920s, and man, I would have loved to have been around for that. During that era, this city was a creative hub for authors from all over the world, including my favorite author, Ernest Hemingway, who lived in this building. Ernest Hemingway and his wife at the time, Hadley, moved to Paris in 1921. He was seeking a more artistic environment in which to write. And he certainly found it in this apartment and in the many cafes here in Paris's Latin Quarter. That's where he liked to do the actual writing. The city of Paris plays a significant role in many of Hemingway's most notable books. And he wasn't alone. Ezra Pound, Gertrude Stein, even F. Scott Fitzgerald, author of The Great Gatsby, came to Paris seeking the same inspiration. The city became their muse almost. And the Latin Quarter has always been a cultural hotspot. Many of the city's major universities are located here. It's on the left bank of the River Seine. Very vibrant. Pablo Picasso even called it home. Now, there are many reasons why we've done multiple episodes of The Tattooed Traveler from Paris. You have the museums, the fashion, the romance, the architecture, the food, and, of course, the glorious River Seine snaking its way through this glorious city. But you also have these iconic landmarks like La Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower, which is our final stop for this show. It was constructed as the entrance arch to the 1889 World's Fair that was held here in Paris. It stands 1,083 feet tall and welcomes over 7 million visitors every year. Can you go up in it? You sure can. You can grab a ticket to go either to the second level or all the way up. and you can choose between using the elevator or taking the 1,665 steps. I'm with you. Elevator it is. And as awesome as it is to see during the day, at night when it's all lit up, man, oh man. The golden lights begin illuminating every evening at sunset, and they sparkle till 1 a.m. I'm telling you, there's just nothing like it. So whether you're a first-time visitor or returning to rediscover its magic, Paris is always waiting for you, my friend, with open arms. Absolutely incredible. I fall deeper and deeper in love with Paris with each visit. I hope this starts a mad crush for you too. I want to thank you so much for joining me here in the city of lights, the city of love, the city of adventure. Make sure you check out some of the other shows we have on the channel, some great episodes. We go to Geneva, Switzerland, we go to Rome, Italy, all over North America. I am sure you will find it fascinating. All right, from Paris, I'm Todd Newton, the Tattoo Traveler, and my friend, until we meet again a little further down the road, thank you for watching and travel safely.